Hi guys, very good afternoon to you. Today I'm going to talk about the VBA. So this is a question for us that which one of my students shared with me. He has some data in this column A, and what he wants to do is he has got some name here separated by the comma like this. It could be anything, and what he wants to do is he wants to have this function in Excel which can give their exact count, cumulative count. For example, he wants to have something in the form of a formula written over here, so that it should count the number of times the Sam is appearing here, and then at the same time how many times this Ajay name is appearing, and then Alan is appearing, right? So we know that in this data, if I talk about this data, let me just give the border. So we have a Sam here, right? So let me write here 1. We have a Alan here. Let me write 1. We have a Ajay here, and then down the line we have again Sam, Alan, and what else? Yes. So what is the total count? What is the total sum? In other words, it's 5, right? So he wants to see that whatever the numbers are here in his lookup, he should be able to build a formula which can count the numbers in one step, right? So I don't think so that this is something which can be prepared in advance Excel, with the help of the Excel, though I'm not sure, but to my best knowledge, maybe it can be done through arrays, because arrays are very powerful. Please watch my videos in case if you don't know anything about the arrays. You can watch. I have till now uploaded 3 videos on the arrays, and you can really watch them. But this time I will be giving you this tip on the VBA. So what we are going to do is, instead of working on the Excel, we'll work on the VBA and we'll prepare a function which we generally say user defined functions. User defined functions. So let's see how we can prepare this function over here, right? So go to the developer tab. So I expect that you know the basics of this VBA. In case if you do not know the basics, you can still watch this video and you can actually check that how powerful the VBA is. And it is always I always encourage people with whom I get in contact, whether it is through teaching or whether it's like a journal meeting. Whenever we talk on Excel, I always tell them that unless until you know VBA, you really feel very incomplete. So VBA is something which can actually do wonders. It can do anything. In fact, when you want Excel to work for you, there you use the VBA in simple words. In a layman term, I would say that when you start giving the commands to Excel, and Excel starts working for you, that's called the VBA. So what we are going to do is we are going to prepare a function, and it could be anything. So let me name this function. Apart from the VBA reserve words, it could be, you can give any name. Let me give, let's say, count each, count word, maybe, something like that. Okay, so I'm not going to tell you about the basics, the things which you are supposed to take care, which is supposed to be taken care while making the function name. So we will directly hit for this for this method, for this VBA code, how we are going to prepare it. So what I'm going to do is, what the thing which I have in mind is, let us prepare a kind of a blueprint. So what we're going to do is, we'll first separate these names like this: Sam, Ajay, Alan, and so on. It could be anything. We'll see see this. We'll try to change these names later, but first let us develop the formula. So when I will separate them with the help of a function which I'm going to tell you, that's called the split function, I'll get these names separated, and then we'll store them. We will store these functions in arrays, right? So arrays again is a part of a VBA which is used in advanced Excel, and at the same time it can be used in VBA as well, right? So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to store all these names. I'll make some array, and I'll store them in the array. Then what we are going to do is, we are going to run a loop for each loop. You must be aware of this for each loop. In case if you're not, then just watch this video. It can give you a good amount of knowledge on this for each loop. So the idea is to separate these numbers, the text entries separately, to separate them, and then to allocate, to place them in some array, and then in that array we are going to compare each element one by one in this entire table. So first I'm going to compare Sam in this entire table with the help of the for each loop, and then I'm going to compare Ajay again the same way, and then again I'm gonna compare Alan, in a similar way. So let's see how we can achieve this. So I haven't prepared the code yet because I just wanted to go with the flow, so that in case if we get some errors, you can actually watch it and you can, see that how we can, when we get the errors, so how we overcome such issues. So it's gonna be more on a practical, on a live kind of a, experience, which I'm just going to tell you. And so there is no as such pre-written code in my mind. So let's start with this. So first thing first, if you want to prepare a function, like let's say this is a function, this is a function, mid is a function. Now you see these are all the parameters. So parameters are always used in function. So similarly in VBA, maybe I think 90 or 95% of the time you use the parameters through the function, though it is not really required, but yes, I think that's the best way, or not the best way, but I would say that maximum time you will have to give the parameters while deciding the functions. But again, that is not something mandatory. It's all about, depends upon your skills and about your what do you think that what kind of a function you want to give to the user. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to right now going to give the two parameters. The first parameter would be that user should be able to select this range, and then afterwards he should be able to select this this cell E1, so that we can run a loop inside it. So what I'm going to do is let me say my range as range, and this is how you write the parameters in function. And the second thing is that that is going to be my cell. So I'll just write maybe word as string. So this will have this word will occupy these Sam, Ajay, Alan, and that's why, because they are strings. So I have written here the data type as a string, and my range as a range, because that's gonna be my range. From this A1 to A11 is going to be my range, right? So that's why I defined this. These are the classes actually, and this is the data type. So range is generally used in a collection. It's a collection when you loop, when you specially use for each VBA codes, there you generally use these range words. Anyways, that's a different thing. As I said, that you are supposed to know the basic of the functions and basic of the VBA. So right now I'm just concentrating on building this formula. So what value it should return? Obviously it should return me some number, which is, so I'm keeping this data type as a long, because obviously you're looking for the count 3 4 5 6 7 8 9, it could be anything. So now let's start building up this formula. So what we are going to do is we have created this function, and it has two parameters. Now we need to define that how we are supposed to start from here. So the very first thing is, which I'm going to do here, is I'm going to separate these names, by Sam, Alan, and Ajay, the way I was just telling you, like this, Sam, Ajay, Alan. So let's do one thing. Let me just modify this. Let's just close this. Okay, so first thing first, let us define this array, and let me say this my array. Let me name this as my array. Okay, and now that's the array which I'm storing right now, and thereafter what we are going to do is in this word which is going to be selected while using this function, we'll say that my array it should be equal to you have this function called split function. Sorry, typo mistake. So now you can see the expression. So expression is what I'm going to write this word. That is going to my expression, because word will have this selection Sam, Ajay, and Alan, and then I'm going to delimit this. So it's going to be a comma, because these are separated by the comma. So that's very basic Excel which we are using here. All right. So now I have this array, and let us try to run this function. And you see now you can't run this with the F8 because you have a function over here, so you will have to actually call this function, right? So what we are going to do is instead of making this function first, I'm going to just copy this so that we can do the F8, we can do the debugging. So I'm going to rename it in the form of sub. Okay, and sub really doesn't require this, so that's how we're gonna build this, right? And at the same time, what I'm going to do is I'm going to change this. We really don't require this. Okay, and now let's do one thing. Let's do it like this: dim word as string. Okay, and this word, these are the variables, and this variable will have the value of, let's say we have the value in even cell, right? Even cell we have this H, so this will have the value of the variable. Okay, now let us see whether we are able to run this function or not. So I'm going to press F8 and okay, so let me show you the project explorer as well at the same time, and now let's try to run it. Okay, it's not running. Let us check what is the reason. Okay, I see. I think because you have this the same name again and again. Yeah, so there you go. So the mistake was there. So as I said, you when you start something from the scratch, you really you come across many things which may create a problem, but ultimately if you know the basics and if you have a confidence in you can overcome those things. So the problem was that I was not able to run this code because my function has the same name and the sub was also having the same name, so you can't really have the two names together, the same name in the module. So this time I have changed it to count underscore and w. It could be anything as long as it is obeying the basic rules. Okay, so let's start with this. Let me press this step into, and let's keep a watch on this so that we should be able to see. Okay, so I'm keeping the watch here, and now this has the word is showing the value Sam, Ajay and Alan, which is correct. So let's try to do this, my array. Okay, so it says type mismatch, right? So it says type mismatch. So what is the reason? Let us check once again. Okay, so say runtime 3. I'm gonna take the help of this, so let's find out why it is giving us the error. So type mismatches generally happens when you declare something in integer and the value is going high, maybe overflow, or maybe the data type you have chosen is wrong. It could be string, but you have chosen as as something as integer. Okay, so let's check out this line. For example, an integer can always be assigned to a long, a single can always be assigned to a double, and any type user defined can be assigned to a variant, right? So we have might be some issue with this data type. So let's do one thing. Let's try to assign this as a variant, because we are using this split function, and I believe that when you use the split function, this array has to be declared as a variant. So let us try to run this. Okay, so let's rerun this. Step F8. Okay, you still have a problem with this. All right, so we'll have to see now what exactly is the issue. Okay, so okay, it has to be string, yeah, because you have got the values of the string. Okay, let me run this. Yeah, so there you go. So now I'll just put the watch on this and let me check. I've just changed the data type as a string, because whatever the values we'll get in this array in the form of all these Sam, Ajay and Alan, I'll get actually the text entries, right? So this is how the arrays are defined. I have the Ajay separated, I have Sam separated, I have Alan separated, right? So they are there. All right, so now till now we are quite okay. Now what we want to do is we want to loop these arrays, you know, one by one. And so so let's do one thing. Let's create a for each loop. So what I want is I want that let us first, let's say I'm saying this cell as range, I'm giving this class as a range, and for each now cell, you know, when you work on the loops, you'll have to go by this for each syntax. So for each cell, which is CEL, please remember that this is not a CELL, right? You can't use any reserved word. This is a CEL. You could name it anything else, but I've just kept it CEL. So for each cell in let's say range, now the range is we know the range A1 is to A11, okay, and here you will write the next. And so your coding, let me just remove this backspace, your code will go here. So now for each cell in this, what you want to do is you want to compare whatever the value you have here over here, you know, Sam has to be compared in this entire range. So how we can do that, we have got this array which is now, you know, splitted. So what we want is that okay, so let's do something like this. I'll say that if my if cell dot value, you know, the value which would be in this loop, which is Sam, is equals to let's say the first element of my array, which is of course the 0 element. So I'll write here index, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to write here index value, so that it should start from 0. But even if I think I will not write it, it will take the 0. So my array, if my cell dot value equals to my array index, and okay, so then you should say what you want to do. If that is going to be equals to this, then my result, which is again now going to be a variable, it should give me the value of result plus 1, you know. So why I'm writing this result plus 1, because I'll just tell you in a moment. And else nothing, you know. So I'll write here and if. Okay, so now we have this code. So what will happen is the result initially will have a 0 value, so you really don't have to write index equals to 0, because automatically it will take the value as a 0. But yes, after adding this value, you are supposed to give a, you know, this number. So let me just, I mean, you have to increment the array. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to increment this by 1, right? So that every time this loop should run, this index value keeps on changing. Okay, and okay, so we have this. Let me put some space here. Okay, so what I want is this time it will run for the Sam, not for the Ajay and the Alan, right? So what we want is we want to have another loop which I would say that for each this word, you know, this for each this word in I would say my array, right, which is my array, and I'll put this next here so that my loop should work. So I'm just explaining you this. It might look a little confusing, but we're just trying to develop a code, and then I'll tell you what exactly we are doing here, right? So many of you might have got the idea what we are trying to do here. I'm going to run the two loops here. First we'll check that how many times it is supposed to be run. So obviously we'll have to check this SAM and this entire range, you know, which is A1 starts with the A1 and end at A11, and then we'll have to check the Ajay in the entire loop, and then Alan, and so on. So we'll have to run this loop 3 times, and every time when this SAM is being checked, it has to check in all these entire A1 to A11, which is I have written here, right? So so index has to be this 1, but I don't think so. Index should be incremented here. Instead it should be incremented here, so that the next time when we'll go to this this next, after crossing this next, the index should be the 1, and index 1 obviously will have a new value, you know. So let us check this first. So let us try to run this, and before that what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep a watch on this. Let's create a watch on this. Now this is the result, and okay, now let's see. Okay, so for each control variables on arrays must be variant. Okay, so we have done a mistake. This dim word has to be variant because you are looping it in the array, right? So that's the rule of the VBA, that your whatever you declare here for each this data, this variable type, it has to be always a variant if you are running it in array. Okay, so let us see. Variable not defined. Okay, so I haven't defined the variable, I guess index, so I can define it here. Okay, so I'm going to define it index. So it could be integer, it could be a long byte, you know, whatever is the requirement basis the what capacity they hold. So in this, even it I think is it's okay to define this byte, because byte have 0 to 2555 numbers, 255. So but still I'll just make it integer. Okay, so now let's try variable not defined. Okay, so we have not even defined the result here. Okay, so result would again be the integer in this case, because it's going to be a number, the whole number. Okay, now let's try to run this, and let's check. So I have this word as Sam, Ajay, Alan, and I'm going to split this now with the help of this delimiter, which is my comma. And the moment I do that, I can check my array over here. So it has the 0th element. Array always starts from 0, you know, please remember this. So if you have the array of three dimensions, then it means it can hold up to 0, 1, 2, 3, so 4 elements, right? Unless you specify some particular number here, right? Otherwise by default it always takes from a 0. Anyways, that's again a different thing. I'm not gonna talk about the arrays here. So now we have got the array. Now let's see what we're gonna do. So for each word, so we have this Ajay, Sam, and Alan in this array, right? So this time it says that for each word in my array, and so the array also holds Sam, Ajay, Alan. So I guess this word has to be this word has to be yeah, so here I can see it, right? Sam, Ajay, and Alan. So let's check this now. Okay, so for each, now it has gone to this another loop for each loop. Now this time you see this cell is saying nothing, right? So this cell is saying nothing because we haven't started it yet, and this cell is again a part of, we have given this a range work class. Okay, so let's see. Okay, so you see now the moment I press F8, now this cell has got the same SAM value, right? The very first value, because we are going to run this in this entire range. So what for each does is, for each cell in range, in other words, in a very layman English, I can say that it is going to you know, check all these cells one by one until it reaches here A11, right? So it will automatically keep on going to the next. So right now we have the SAM here, and in this range we have, you know, this entire range, so it will keep on moving from the next. Now let us see what we have here. Now the cell value is SAM, right? So the cell value is SAM, and the array is index is 0. We know that the index array 0 is SAM, right? So ideally SAM is equals to SAM this time. So this SAM is equals to the first SAM which we have, you know, found here. So I think it should go to the very next line, true, right? Okay, so it has reached here. Now the result showing, you know, 1. You check the value here 1 because it is a true, it is not a false. That's why it, you know, executed to the next line, otherwise it would have skipped this line and it would have gone to the else. I'll just show you. Let us see now, and let us run this again. Okay, so next. Okay, now this time let's see what value it has. You see the value is changed again. Now it says Alan, right? But here we have not changed anything because the index is always 0. So index 0 is still SAM. So SAM is being checked in this entire loop, right? So now this time you see it skipped this line, result equal to result plus 1. Why? Because it is not true. That's why I said if this condition is matching, then you should have, you know, you should go to this, otherwise else go to this end if, right? So that's how you write the if end condition. So I'm going to run this, keep on running this. So now you have a Sano which is here, so it has again not qualified for the condition. Now let's see what value you have. Now you have the Aman, obviously it will not. Now you have Donald, it will not. Now you have again Sam. You see this Sam is again here. So I hope that it should go to the next line, result equals to result. So you see this, now it has not no, it didn't go to the else part because it is matching the condition. So it is now on the and if and so on, right? So let me be a little quick, and we have this Aman. I think that's the last cell. All right, you see the moment it checked all the things. The last one was Aman, as I showed you, and now the loop is completed. Now it will immediately go to the next, and the index would be now this index number would be changed from 0 to +1 because we have added the 1 here. Why I have added the 1? Because I want that the array next time it checks the, you know, it should check with the array 1, not the 0. And in array 1, the first element or the second element, you know, because array starts from the 0, so you can say that's the second element which has this first position. This is Ajay, right? So let us check now. Okay, now what we have. Okay, now we have this for each word. See Ajay, previously it was showing Sam, Ajay, Alan, and now it has you know, moved to the next word which is Ajay. Now here in index 1, you see this index 1, I will have this Ajay. So it is going to compare now again the entire loop with the Ajay. Earlier it was comparing it with the Sam, right? So that's how you write the codes. So now let's see what value you have. You have the Sam. Okay, Sam is not equals to Ajay, so that's why it immediately you know, gone to the false condition, else. So let's see now. Again I have a value of Alan, so it is not going to work. Now this time I have, okay, now this time I have Ajay. So, and my array, you know, this also holds the same value, so it should go to the next line. Okay, so it does not. So that's something we need to check. Okay, so we I think it is perhaps because of the fact that, you know, we have some concerns here. The Ajay starts with the A capital, and this starts with the A, you know, small. All right, so that should not be the case, but anyways, let us check. Might be the case sensitive. So I think we don't have anything here, right, Ajay, other than this. And so let me run this quickly so that it should go to the next. Okay, it is going to check what is the last value here. It is Aman, so that's, I think the loop is finished now. Okay, now it has gone to the next. Okay, now the index is changed to 2, right? So you have a new value of 2. Okay, so the 2 means Alan, right? So again I have the same thing for the Alan. So Alan starts with the A capital, and here, you know, you have it in lowercase. So I guess again it is going to fail all the conditions. Yeah, it is failing, guys. Okay, but anyways, that's not the problem. We can change the, uppercase. But it's a good thing to understand that it is taking care of these cap, uppercase and the lowercase as well. Okay, so now next, and what we have, I think we don't have anything. So you see, we have checked Sam, Ajay, and Alan, everything, and now what we are going to do is we're going to press F8. So this is how this subroutine works. Now this is a sub, but what we want to do is we want to use the function, and the difference between the sub and the function is that function always returns value, and we want to return a value. We want to use this function in the Excel sheet. So what we are going to do is we are going to do little bit of changes as I was making this function over here. So what I'll do is we'll try to build this code again. So I was just trying to demonstrate you how with the help of the F8 debugging tool you can actually check when you prepare the codes. So let's do one thing. This time my range as range, it is already there, and what else we want, we want word is there, word is a string, so this word is there. So what we'll do is we'll define this array and we'll copy these codes. Let me Control X. Okay, and now this will go exactly the same way, and okay, so I'm going to cut this and I'm going to paste this here. I'll just show you that how this is going to work here. And this time I don't want to give this word equals to, I don't want to copy this copy this code, because this time function itself has this argument entered here. So the moment I write the function and I'll select this E1, automatically E1 value will pass on to this function. That's why functions are so good to use under such circumstances. You can define each and everything. So let us just delete this code and let's come here, and now let's see whether we are able to build this function or not. Okay, so our function cannot be called, guys, with the F8 key. Remember that, right? So I'm going to put this break mode here, and I'm going back in my sheet, and my function is count underscore word. And one thing more, what value I want to be returned, that I'm going to write here the same function. This is how you return the value in the function. So this function count underscore word should hold what value? It should hold this result, because that is something which is taking the value from these true and false combinations. Okay, so let me just put some tabs here, and so that it looks nice. Yeah, okay, fine. I think we are good to go. Right, so you have this count word function. I'm going to write this count word function, and remember these are the parameters. First is the range and the other one is the word. So what it means is that when I'm going to write this function here, count, you see this function is already has started appearing in this. Otherwise it is not a normal function. It's a user defined function. Is a function which I have prepared, right? So I'm going to select this. Now first thing, as I said in the function, I will be providing the range. Okay, that's my range, and the comma, these are the parameters which I'm going to enter, and this is the word parameter which I have written there. So in this word, this entire value will be passed. So that's how I'm going to now press enter. Now let's see. Okay, so we have got some issues. For each control, again the same, I think. Okay, so what we did is we have some error. Let me check again. For each control variable on arrays must be variant. Okay, so that's what I think. Okay, so it has variant. Okay, let us rerun this again. Okay, so it says variable not defined for each cell. Okay, I forgot to declare it. It has to be again a range class. Okay, so now let's run this. Oh, index is also left, so let us write the index as well. Okay, so that's how you keep on getting something. I won't say, I mean, they are the errors, of course, but it's a good, you're debugging, you are checking your entire program, whether it is correct or not, before you launch it or before you share it with the entire unit, entire team, so that's how you do the debugging. So let us press F8 again. So again we have a one more variable which is not defined variable. Okay, you must give this correct data type. Right now I'm just not writing it. That's not a good habit, I must say. So we'll just give them the correct data type, but let us first see that if we are able to run this formula correct or not. So I have this my array, and let me give the watch window to this array. Okay, so this is how you give. Let us check the values. Yeah, we have got the values right. We have got the Sam, Ajay and Alan, perfect. And yeah, that's right. And let me keep this as well in the add watch, so that we can see what value we are having. Alright, so let's try to run this code now. Okay, so for each cell, again we have the Sam in this range. Okay, now in this range A1 is to A11. So now guys, what I'm going to do is, because this we have copied this code from there in the sub, but what we can do is, now we don't have to be specific on this range, because my range is going to return this value over here. So because I have selected that range, when I prepared this formula, you see this A1 is to A11, that's my this range parameter, and this E1 is my this word parameter, right? So what I'm going to do is, instead of making this manual, I'll make this dynamic, my range. So whatever I select here, this parameter A1 is to 11 will simply get passed here. So let me just rerun this. Okay, so I think we'll have to run it again because I have changed this. Okay, now let's run this. Okay, so we got some issues here, and the issue is that you don't have to, that's your range, right? Okay, let's check now. Okay, now we have got the values. So for cell is Sam is Ajay, and my range, let us check. So here the cell value is this Sam, and the array is again the Sam, right? That makes sense to me, right? Because the very first word over here is Sam, which is going to be checked in this entire range, right? And so let us run this. Now again, I have already shown you this, how this works, so I'm not going to spend much of the time on this. Rather than I'll simply, now it has come to the next, because the last value was the Aman. Okay, so now it has gone to the next cell. Now this each cell, okay, so we still have this Sam. Okay, so ideally, yeah, so Sam is correct. Yeah, sorry, Sam is correct because Sam is the first. This Ajay has to be here now. Okay, yeah, we have got this. You see this Ajay. Let me just pull this down. So now this Ajay is going to be checked in this entire range, right? And we know that it is not going to check because Ajay has, in our Ajay lookup value, it has a in small letters. So let me write this, run this fast, and now again it will go to the next loop. Now this time this array will hold Alan, right? So this is how this entire loop is running, right? So this is going very fine, guys. This loop is running perfect. There's no issue so far, I believe. Okay, now yes. So here when the loop is finished, it has checked all the Sam, Ajay, Alan in this entire loop. Now let's see what value we have. So result is Ajay. Result is 2. So 2 means, yeah, that makes sense to me, because Sam is in this entire table it appears 2 times. Ajay, Alan it could not find, because of the fact that we have this Ajay, Alan is first alphabet is it's not in the uppercase, right? So that's how this thing is. And now in order to return the function, you'll have to write this, function name and equals to what variable your value is holding. So I'm just gonna make this function equals to this. Right now it shows 0, so now you see it is now 2. The moment it is going to the end function, it is gone. This code has run, and you see you have got your value back here, right? So let us remove this break code, and let me just close this, because I believe that this function is now working fine. And instead of this, now let us try to change this A, give the capital alphabet, and yeah, You see, did you see that? Right, it has immediately changed the number, right? Let me just make this a little bigger. Okay, so let's do some now practical, some more example. I mean to say, let's put some more names. Maybe let's put some, okay, Donald and maybe Sano, and let's check. Okay, so it says 3. Is it so? Let us check. Donald is just once, and then Sano 2, 3. Yeah, you have got here 1, 1, 1, right? So it is giving you the numbers. So you see they are so actually powerful, the VBA functions, that you can prepare your own functions. So if I change this to something else, maybe some name which is not here, right? Let's say BB. You see it will give me the 0. If I say Sam, and if I say Donald, and if I say Sano, and if I say Ajay, press enter, you have the 6 numbers, you have the 6 counts, right? So we can check this before wrapping up. This Sam 1, and then we have this Ajay, this Sano, and Donald, and then Sam again, and this Sano again. Yeah, that's it. So you see this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this is how you can prepare your own functions. Just once again, I'm going to revise you this. What we did is actually this function which is prepared by us, count word, it is not an Excel formula. It requires 2 parameters. So what we are doing is, first we are actually telling that you are supposed to go in this range, and you are supposed to find these elements one by one, right? Now when I press enter, so what happens is that it goes in the background, and here this my range parameter, this will have this entire range which I have selected, from A1 to A11, and this word will get this parameter which is called this Sam, comma Donald, Sano, and Ajay. And through that, using the split function, I have created an array so that I can have Sam, Donald, Sano, Ajay, separate. I can separate them out, and I can run a loop wherein I can check that Sam is, please check the Sam count in this entire range which is coming from this table, and going over going to this for each cell code, right? So for each cell in my range, what it does is, it in this parameter my range, it is taking this parameter, what we are entering here in the form of this A1 is to A11. It could be anything, so that's why this formula is dynamic. Next time if you make it A11 to, let's say, maybe A100, it will go the same way down this down here, right? And so what is happening is, we'll have to run this loop 4 times, because we'll have to compare Sam, Donald, Sano, Ajay one by one in this entire this range. So that's why we have used for each twice, so that first for each when it runs, it actually checks whether we have this value true or not. So it is checking Sam in every row, and wherever it is finding true, it is saying that if the value is true, then do this, then result equals to result plus 1. So result will hold initially when the first time it is going, this loop is going to run, it is going to give you the 0, but then 0 plus 1 will make it 1. And similarly, next time when it will run and it finds some another value which is true, this result will simply the previous value in the 1, it will add again 1, and it makes it 2, and so on. So that's how, guys, we prepared this. And remember, when you write the functions, you will have to return their values at the end of the code, at the before just the end function, so that this function can be called in from your Excel. So I hope you like this video. I know we did a little bit of, we got some issues while making this code, but that's how when you write the codes. I just wanted to make this video more of a practical thing, that not to that write the code and then to explain you. So that's how we got stuck at some points, but this is how you learn the things. So that's my email ID in case if you want to learn more about VBA, and if you want to learn more about the Excel, just let me know about it. And this is my another Gmail email, and you can even mark me an email on this, right? So I hope you liked the video, and please do subscribe to my YouTube channel. There are other videos as well which are uploaded, and all are very classy videos, and you can really learn a lot of things from there. So just watch them and enjoy. And so I'm again signing off, and I promise that next time I'll come with some more great stuff. And so till then, bye bye. Please enjoy your weekend and take care. Thank you so much. Bye bye.